Alright, BattleBot99 here, and these are my top 5 metal albums of 2019. First off is number 5, which I had trouble choosing because it really only had a solid top 4, but I ended up choosing Organectomy's album, Existential Disconnect. And yeah, it's got some bangers on there, so I chose that one. And here's the vinyl. Pretty cool. Put them aside over here. Put the CD over here, I guess. And now number 4, I went with Infinite Annihilator's new album, The Battle of Yaldabaoth, or Yaldabaoth. Nobody knows how to say it correctly except for them, I guess. So yeah, that's that. That's number 4, and here's the vinyl for that. It says, hold on, right here, green with orange splatter. So that's cool. Number 3, we've got, well, before I use number 3, I just wanted to say that album, god damn, it's technical and heavy. Favorite track would be the title track, or, yeah, let's go with the title track. And the lyrics are great too. As for the Organectomy one, I've only listened to, I think, like 3 or 4 of the songs, but they were awesome. My third pick, the runner-ups will be before number 1, just so you know. My third pick was Brand of Sacrifice. Brand of Sacrifice. God Hand. Got to see them live with Rings of Saturn on November 4th in Ottawa. That was awesome. Favorite track would be either Fortress or Begin. Begin is highly underrated. Beast of Darkness is really good too. Yep. So that's, I didn't get the vinyl for that. I could have for 40 bucks at the concert, but I decided I need to save my money because I'm trying to move out next year. Okay, that brings us to number 2, which probably nobody has on their list for this year because they're so underground, is Necrotic Gore Beast. Found them on the Slam Worldwide channel, and damn, they kicked ass. Here's the back. Favorite track from that would be probably Sterilized Infant Flesh Doll. The mixing and mastering on this thing is just incredible. It's like really crisp and clear. This has the best mixing from any album in 2019, in my opinion. Along with my number 1 choice, which you'll see in a second. Fantastic album. Highly recommend people check out Necrotic Gore Beast. Very underrated. Okay. And that brings us to all the runner-ups. This is going to be controversial, I guess, because some of them I have in here, everyone's like, oh, that should be album of the year. You'll see. Okay, number 1, I have to address this. Slipknot's We Are Not Your Kind. I've seen some videos already that have this at number 1 for 2019, which I get it. It's Slipknot. It's like mainstream metal, and yeah, it had a couple good tracks on there. I loved All Out Life, which was the single before the album, which they didn't put on the album, which if they would have put that on the album, that would have, like, I would have rated this a lot higher. Because All Out Life was like the best track they released, in my opinion, within the last year or 2. And Unsainted, I was like, you know, it's pretty good. It's obviously the radio song on the album. There were a couple good ones like Red Flag and whatnot, but yeah, I don't know, it didn't make my top 5 anyway. It was okay. People are gonna hate me for calling it okay, but you know, opinions are opinions. It was good. I'll say it's good. It's not even in my top 3 for Slipknot albums, but it's good. So that's that. I'll put that over here now. This one, people are gonna hate me for this as well. The new Rammstein album. Yeah, that's the album cover. There's Rammstein. I haven't had time to listen to it, so this is still sealed in the plastic. When I get time to listen to it, I definitely will. I haven't heard much about it, so obviously it either failed to impress or it was just not talked about very much. I'm not sure. Yeah, I've seen the singles. Like, I haven't watched the singles that were released on YouTube, but I saw that the videos were uploaded. So I went and bought this thinking, oh, you know, it must be as good as Mutter or like one of the other albums, but we'll see. To be determined on that one. This one I pre-ordered actually. Nightwish, Decades. It has the live performances from Buenos Aires, or however you say that. Yeah, haven't listened to it yet. I just got it in the mail like a few days ago, so that's gonna be really, really good. It says 2019, but that's when they performed it, was 2018 in South America. Awesome. Once I listen to that, that could be in my top 5 because Nightwish is kicking ass, and their next album coming out in a few months is gonna album of the year 2020 maybe. But Lorna Shore Immortal, even with all the controversy about what just happened, that might get album of the year for 2020. But back to 2019, we have Tarja. Some people say Tarja, but Tarja. In the Raw. In the Raw. The back just kind of like peels off. It's kind of strange. I don't know if you can see that. I'm recording this in 720p to save space because when I upload it takes hours and hours. Let me get the CD out of this thing. CD looks awesome. So yeah, that's Tarja. She was the vocalist of Nightwish in the past. And yeah, my favorite songs on there would be The Golden Chamber and Railroads and Dead Promises, not Dead Memories, that's Slipknot. And I have that one on vinyl as well. Right here. Sorry for the glare, it's tough to do, I have bad lighting in my room. So that's that. I guess I could show the back. Hold on. There's just like some rocks or something. Okay, couple more, not couple, a lot more for runner-ups. This one's to be expected. Oh wait, before we get to that, I forgot to show you guys my Infant Annihilator cassette. I don't really play cassettes, but I got it for the collection purposes. Yeah, cassettes. Who knew that they would make a comeback? So that's cool and all. Rings of Saturn. This I was considering for 5th place this year in my top 5, but it's like 6th, so it just barely didn't make the cut. It was between this and the Organectomy one, but in the end, I'm more often in the mood to listen to Organectomy than Rings of Saturn, because this is pretty complicated, obviously. So, yeah, but I got to see them live in Ottawa November 4th, so that was sick. 2019, obviously. And there's the back. Rings of Saturn, though, they have the best artwork. Possibly the best artwork of 2019, or 2019, however you'd like to say it. It's between them and, like, Organectomy, or some of those bands for best artwork of this year. Yep, that's that. Favorite songs would be the title track, Jidim, or Gidim, however it's pronounced, and I think it's Jidim. And The Husk, Mental Prolapse, and Tormented Consciousness, I guess. Got the vinyl for that right here. It looks insane. That's probably a thumbnail right there for the video. Where is it? Over here. If you can read that, it says pressed on beer colored with pink and brown splatter vinyl, limited to 500 copies. Pressed on beer. Like, what? The back, as you saw on the CD. And I also got the cassette. One of them, I think it was the purple one, was limited to 100 copies, so I couldn't get that in time, but I got the limited to 300 copies, I believe, the yellow one. So, that's cool, cassette. Probably won't get into, like, cassette collecting. Same with vinyl, like, I can't afford to keep buying vinyls. I'm gonna have to start sticking to the CDs. Next runner-up, we have Signs of the Swarm. with what was this one called again? Vital Deprivation. I was kind of disappointed in this one. Disappointed in the fact that I expected it to be like, oh, album of the year, but was not the case. And it's not the new lead singer's fault, Dave. He did all right. It's just there wasn't enough variety in his vocals. Like they were heavy vocals, but I expected more different like techniques throughout the album. I just found it got stale over time. Crown of Nails was probably my favorite. Jeez, you can like hardly read that in 720p. So that's that. Signs of the Swarm. I liked their previous album a little bit more. Well, a lot more actually. The Disfigurement of Existence, which had CJ on it. His vocals were just killer. Next runner-up is Bound in Fear. How long is this video already? Jesus, 11 minutes. Okay. Bound in Fear, The Hand of Violence. I bought this one because I heard The Rot Within featuring Alex Tayan, and I was like, oh my god, that is heavy. Possibly the heaviest song I had ever heard, so I was like, I need to pick this up. It opens up pretty nicely. Anyway, and there's the back. It's like an eyeball or whatever with jail bars. Yeah, there's like eyelashes right above the bars. Anyway, favorite tracks on that would be like The Rot Within and Stigmata. Really good album though. Really good. Next runner-up, there's about 5 more, I think. Rendered Helpless, Suffer Seraphim. Yeah, Suffer Seraphim. This is the, I think his name's Alex Paul. He's the guy from Organectomy, and he also is Rendered Helpless. So, and I believe he's a one-man band. Correct me if I'm wrong. Those two bands are both him, and both of them are fantastic. But I can't remember this one very well. It was early in the year, like January or something, like 11 months ago. But all I remember is that it was really good. So props to him for that. Still in the plastic, but I like opened it, took the CD out, listened to it, and put it back in. Really good. The next one, which I actually got at the concert in Ottawa with Rings of Saturn, is Enterprise Earth. My first time getting into them, and it was a banger. Like, awesome job. The album is Luciferus, 2019, obviously. And what's really nice about this is it's got 2 CDs in there. You can't read it at all, sorry. Instrumental. They have an instrumental CD in there, so all the vocals are gone. So if you don't like the vocals in deathcore for some reason, then get this album because you can hear the whole thing without vocals. Dan Watson, ex Infinite Annihilator, does the vocals in here. And yeah, they're pretty good, but I've only listened to it so far instrumentally, so I will get around to listening to it with vocals, trust me. I know it's a great album, and I was considering it for my top 5. When I saw them perform live with just the guitarist and drummer, because the other 2 band members couldn't get into Canada, and the guitarist and drummer put on a hell of a show, so props to you guys. Next is Deviloof. What's the name of this album? Your guess is as good as mine, but from this year and Deviloof. And my favorite tracks were Torture, and there's another one. I can't remember, and it's all in like Japanese, so it's really hard to talk about this, but it was a really good album. Let's leave it at that. Deviloof. It's really hard to see that. One of the best Japanese, like extremely heavy metal bands, and he does like this whistle scream, which is really cool. Very, very varied with his vocal styles. He does like 6 or 7 different types of vocals, so really impressive. Next, which I haven't had time to listen to at all, was the new Unlucky Morpheus album. If you can even see that. I'm not sure if there were like live tracks on this or whatnot. There's some English, some Japanese. But I'm 99% sure this was 2019, and yeah, Unlucky Morpheus. Haven't had time to listen to it, but their black pentagram one there, that it's called Change of Generation. That one was awesome, so I'm sure this one is too. That came out this year. For the last runner-up, we have Utsu-P with Renaissance. Hopefully that won't get this video flagged. What can I say about this one? Unfortunately, it was not like in my top 5. Normally, Utsu-P, any of his other albums would immediately be in my top 5, possibly top 3. But this one, I don't want to say it was a bit of a letdown, but it like kind of was. A lot of the tracks had like trap music influence, where there was like hi-hats throughout, and it kind of felt like poppy. But I know he's experimenting and whatnot. His cover of Echo was really good, like fantastic. So yeah, this, if I was doing a top 10, this would be in my top 10. But this is a top 5, so yeah. Utsu-P though is the artist. You can't even read the kanji. He's one of my top 5 favorite artists of all time. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The number 1 pick for me is, get the dust off of it here. I've been listening to it a lot. It's not, has been collecting dust because I haven't been listening to it. Anyways, Shadow of Intent, Melancholy. This album is just, wow. Fantastic mixing, mastering, instrumentals like piano, and Ben Dewar, the vocalist. Oh my god, man, like, you really stepped up your game. Not that your other 2 albums weren't good, but this was just, wow. Like, great music videos, enjoyed the hell out of them, and got the vinyl, which is awesome. Here's the back. That's what I mean by, like, this could be best artwork of 2019. It just looks really awesome. If you notice down here, there's like a guy that's like hanged or something, or hung, however you say that word. Favorite track would be that's a really, really hard choice. Track 9 is like a 10-minute instrumental, which is amazing. So my favorite track is either The Dreaded Mystic Abyss, Thonic Odyssey, which is track 8, or Barren and Breathless Macrocosm, possibly Dirge of the Void. Like, almost every single track on here is memorable and excellent, so highly recommend this thing. Like, every time I listen to this album, I basically listen to the whole thing in one shot, unless I'm driving to work or something, I don't have time. Absolutely fantastic masterpiece, in my opinion. This is a deathcore masterpiece. Cannot recommend that enough. And I'll stop rambling now. That's my 2019. Those are my 2019 picks for best metal albums. If there's any that I didn't show here that you want to bring up in the comments, feel free to do so. You know, you can share your opinion on the Slipknot album, whatever you gotta do. Voice it in the comments down below. And that's pretty much it. Album of the year, Shadow of Intent. Well done. There it is. Look out for Lorna Shore's January album coming out soon, and Nightwish's new album that doesn't have a title yet, which I believe comes out in March or April of 2020. Those 2 will be contenders for Album of the Year next year. Alright, thanks for watching. It's December 30th, 2019. So I'm completely rushing this video, you know, all in one take, editing as I need to. Oh, you know what? I forgot 3 runner-ups. They're actually on screen because I haven't got them in the mail yet, but they're on their way. The 3 runner-ups, which I'll be putting right here, are this one, which is by Umbilical Asphyxia, Rampant Infantile Strangulation. Very, very heavy. This one, I'm just doing this and there's nothing there, but I'll be putting images there, is Feast of the Antipathy. The album title is like extremely long, but it starts off with like quad a billion something, and there's like a billion teeth in the monster. That is really good as well. Very heavy vocals. And last but not least, we have Disfiguring the Goddess with Caterpillar, which I was a little disappointed in because of the mixing and whatnot, but it was still alright. I preferred his very early albums and EPs, but, you know, to each his own. And I got the t-shirt for that as well, and I got the t-shirt for this one, and Rings of Saturn shirts and whatnot. But regardless, I'll see you all in 2020. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and take care. See ya.